Hello, 7th grade art students. I miss seeing your fine looking faces. I'm really delighted that you can view this video. The purpose of this video is to give you a clear idea of what my expectations are for you for your sculpture assignment that's due this Wednesday, March 25th at 3:30 p.m. I've got lots of ideas and problem solving techniques here for you in this video. So please watch the whole video before creating your sculpture and posting your pictures on Teams. The type of sculpture I'd like you to make is called a representational sculpture. A representational sculpture is a sculpture that is recognizable for exactly what it claims to be. So if you title your sculpture Unicorn, it should look like a unicorn. I would like you to stick with a representational work of art instead of something abstract. And if you come into problems with this, then please email me directly. All right, we need to review something here. Do you know what a sculpture is? What is a sculpture? A sculpture is a three-dimensional form. Did you get that right? Sculptures have 3 dimensions. The 3 dimensions are length, so that's how long it is, height, how tall it is, and width, or how wide it is. So you have to think about that as you build. Remember, we're not making collages, we're making a sculpture. And sculptures are 3-dimensional. They have thickness and real roundness. Keep in mind, there are 4 different types of sculpting methods: carving, assembling, casting, and modeling. And depending on what materials you have at your home, I'm open to any of these methods for this sculpture. It's all just going to depend on what you have available. And for some of you, this might mean you combined 1 or 2 methods into one sculpture. And that would be completely fine. I'm actually hoping for a lot of different things here. I hope we all don't make the same thing. So let's shoot for variety and try to make something that only you would make. Step 1, find a good workspace. Artists usually have a place where they can keep their things out of the way of small children, pets, like dogs and cats, and just out of the way from everyone else. Because when we're making sculpture, things can kind of get out of hand and you can start to spread out fast. This might make other people angry. So first, take 5 minutes and find a place for yourself to work. Got a workspace? Great, you're ready to move on to step 2. Step 2 is gathering materials. And please don't spend more than 15 minutes on this. Look for things in your house like papers. You'd be surprised where you can find paper. A toilet paper roll is a type of paper. Old mail, any wrappers from any food, these can all count as papers. Cardboard is another great material for sculpture. Some other things you might look for: plastics, like a plastic bottle, or something that was wrapped up in cellophane. You could find wood. You can find natural materials outside like leaves and grasses. You can find metals. You could even use food to make this sculpture. I'll be interested to see what you can find. Be resourceful. Step 3, and don't spend more than 3 minutes on step 3. Let's find you some tools. How are you going to manipulate your materials if you don't have tools? We're not at school, so we're gonna have to get clever here. Maybe find a tack from a bulletin board to pierce metal, Or maybe you don't have glue and you don't have clay. So find a stapler. And if you don't have a stapler, find some string. How can you bind materials together? Scissors are great, so I definitely find those in your house. And then maybe a pen and a pencil to keep handy so you can do some sketching and planning. I know you'll find some great things. I know some of you have an abundance of resources at your fingertips. Saws, wood, who knows what you have. Maybe you even have some Play-Doh. Anything will work for this. Step 4, brainstorm ideas. Maybe you'll want to play with the materials and see how it goes and see what works. Or maybe you already have something in mind. Remember, this is a representational sculpture, so you'll want to make something that's clearly recognizable and easy for everyone to know what it is just by looking at it. So make a list, talk to someone, ping pong some ideas back and forth, or just go for it and see what happens. Step 5, clean and modify your materials, especially if you're using recyclables that haven't been cleaned. Like this container of milk, oh, you better make sure you clean that out first. Or this wrapper from a stick of butter. I had to wipe this off before I'm ready to use it, or things could get gross in a hurry. Or how about this stick I found outside? Maybe I'll take all the bark off first before using it to create something else. Whatever you find, whether it's cardboard and you need to cut it down, or a tin can and you need to cut it to make it flat, make sure those materials are clean and you stay safe. When you're not sure, always ask permission from your parents. All right, it's time for the final step, creating your sculpture. Whether you're carving or assembling or modeling or casting, who knows, maybe you'll make something out of a mold you have at home. I hope that it takes you between 30 minutes and 2 hours. You shouldn't plan more than 2 hours for this project unless you're really into it and you just want to go totally over the top. This part's going to be the hardest too. You're probably going to have to deal with some materials and problem solving here. Things aren't going to go right the first time, and you're going to continue to modify, and adjust things until they go correctly. When I made my unicorn, I had to redraw and recut the head at least 5 times before I got the right size, and I felt satisfied with it. And then when I added the legs, I had to figure out that I had to cut some little gashes in the cardboard here to make those rubber bands stay in place. So keep going, don't give up, and plan on making some corrections and revising until you feel satisfied. And if it goes beyond 2 hours, then it's time to stop. All right, let's talk about how to put all of this together, especially if you're assembling. Tape would be helpful if you have tape, or glue. If you have glue, that would also be really magnificent. But if you don't worry, I've got some ideas for you. You could take a plastic bag and then you could cut this bag into strips, and these strips you could use kind of like the way you would use string or yarn to tie something together. Don't have that? Maybe you've got a stapler. Here's a handy tool, especially if you're going to put things together, and it's pretty quick. If you don't have any of that, you could cut slots and things like this and then attach them together. This is an easy way and method of attachment. It's not permanent, but it does work. A little bit harder with one hand, but it does work. There we go. So we've got some slots on there to attach things. If you found some string around your house, fibers are great. The things to look for, needle and thread. You could find thread in a sewing kit, or dental floss. This would work really well as string. Maybe someone in your family has long hair. How about a hair tie or some rubber bands? These are great materials to fasten things together. Maybe a twist tie from something you already have, or maybe you have a junk drawer with these materials. And my personal favorite, bubble gum. Yeah, this is our one chance to chew that gum, and when it wears out, you can use it to put things together. In fact, I used bubble gum to assemble my bird sculpture. I was having a really hard time putting its legs on, and I used gum to put him together. So look around your house. These aren't the only items for sure, but I'm sure you have something you can use, and we can get clever with this. It's time to think out of the box.